Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this evening news brief for Monday, June 10th, 2019. And this is your host, Jason Anthony Pinheiro, reporting live from his headquarters in Barnum Hill, Brooklyn. Let's start things off with transit updates. And we have this. We have issues on the Pelham line that are proceeding with delays after earlier reports of disruptive passenger at Westchester Square, East Tremont Avenue. And everything is good on the railroads, Metro North and Long Island. Let's go to New Jersey. Nothing to report, but one thing that we want to report on, and this is transit related, and this is very unfortunate. Thus, it turns out that the psychopath is not cross honoring at Hoboken and 33rd Street. And that's why when we took the psychopath on Friday, to be exact, Friday night, we noticed something unusual that will be eventually in a separate video. But let's go to the main headline today. That was that this afternoon around 1:45, a helicopter that was going from Linden, New Jersey, presumably going to the Statue of Liberty, crashed on top of the EXA Equitable building at 77th 7th Avenue. And for that, we're going to use Google Earth that you guys could see how the area looks. And as you guys see right now, the clouds are covered. And there's a fog advisory in effect until 6 a.m. tomorrow. Okay, let's let Google Earth finish opening. Okay, there we have it. Okay, this is the building of Exa Equitable. That is 787 7th Avenue between 51st. No, this is the building of Exa Equitable. This right here. That's between 51st and 52nd Street. And the helicopter, I'm assuming that is up here with the body of the pilot. And as we speak, our fellow contributor Matt Camper is live on his channel. So for hours, the areas between um, south of 57th Street were closed, and also and because of this, now the FAA and the National Transportation Safety Board are going to investigate this. And even President Trump was he tweeted out regarding this situation at 2:52 p.m. Governor Cuomo, the governor Andrew Mark Cuomo, he was in the area. He was technically in the Greenwich Village area because he was attending an event at the LGBT Community Center at West 13th Street. So that's why we had the governor at the scene first, then the mayor Warren Wilhelm Jr., who happened to get back from Iowa and be over here like he was supposed to be. But something extraordinary happened today that even people as far as Puerto Rico were aware of what was going on in Midtown Manhattan. And as you guys know, since that this past weekend was the Puerto Rican weekend here in New York, and there was a journalist. His name is Julio Rivera Saniel. He was here in New York covering the weekend events like the Puerto Rican Day Parade at Fifth Avenue and the 116th Street Festival. So, for those who Spanish speakers, let's uh, listen to Julio Rivera Saniel's report.
Hace unas horas en la ciudad de Nueva York.
There you guys have it. A Puerto Rican making history, being here in New York. And I have the pleasure of speaking with that news reporter whom I know for years now. So let's get to the latest on Twitter. And of course, the National Transportation Safety Board is asking if you witnessed the crash that happened this afternoon in Manhattan, and if you have videos or pictures that you took of the crash, please send it over to the National Transportation Safety Board to the following email, that is witness at ntsb.gov. And another thing that the FAA is investigating this incident. And we have officially that's a Augusta A109E helicopter crash on the roof of 787 7 Family in New York at around 1:45 p.m. today. Preliminary information is that that only the pilot was aboard. The FAA air traffic controller did not handle the flight. The NTSB will be in charge of the investigation and will determine the cause of the accident. We will release the aircraft registration after New York City officials release the pilot's name. And something that the media did this afternoon. Let's see if we find the name of the pilot. I know that we received it this afternoon. And we know that the pilot of this plane, um, we know that the name was released this afternoon. Get ready. It's from downtown Brooklyn for us tonight.
Hoy tiene too much spice.
MD Sahel can't believe his roommate Mohammed Abdullah is gone. Sahel tells Fix 11 Abdullah had just left home.
Other helicopter crashes around Manhattan in the last few years. This one is once again fanning the flames of what's known as Stop the Chop. We'll have more on the fight to ban helicopter flights in the city coming up at 10:30.
Well, we still do not know if the wet weather contributed to the crash today.
All right, it was a mess out there, though, that's for sure. Audrey Prenti joins us now. Warn the conditions still very thick, overcast, and damp out there.
That is true, Steve, and the NTSB will have something to look at here with the weather because at the time of the crash, or at least the time of takeoff, this is what the radar image actually looked like, and the National Weather Service was reporting moderate rainfall and some patchy fog, too, with a visibility about 1.25 miles in and around the city. Now, at the time of the crash, or the landing, it does indicate that we did have moderate rainfall across Manhattan, although the National Weather Service has a report at about 2 o'clock of about heavy rain and a dramatic decrease in visibility down to about 0.5 mile. So conditions were definitely deteriorating rapidly at the time that the helicopter did take flight. So that's something the NTSB will, of course, look at. We're in and out of showers here across the region still. We have a bit of a break across parts of the area. You can see on the corner of your screen, there is a heavy batch headed in our direction. Very low clouds here. This is lower Manhattan we're taking a look at. You can't even see One World Trade Center or the tops of the higher buildings here. We have a very low cloud deck. Fog will be an issue tonight. Right now we're at 69 degrees, which so far is our high temperature of the day in Central Park. Here's a look at some of the visibilities across the area, down to 1 mile or less across parts of the area. So very treacherous driving conditions. We do plan to head out, and we do have a dense fog advisory.
That's Fox 5's Audrey Puente reporting about the weather. So one thing that we know for sure, that the weather could be a factor that why the helicopter crashed. So let's let's see if we could find the name. Let's see this report from News 4 New York. Let's interrupt this and see Shirley Chan's report
The signal system on
regarding the MTA this afternoon.
and customer service and reimagining the bus network. Transit is taking the show on the road, selling plans to riders in each community. Tonight, it was a long-suffering 7-train riders.
We need better service, going from point A to point B, going to work in the mornings, going to school in the mornings, whatever the case is.
Delays overnight and weekend track work, not to mention this. There have been a string of incidents in recent months of debris falling from the elevated stretch of the 7 train in Queens, in multiple cases striking a vehicle below.
We're crossing the street, something will fall, God forbid. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, they need to make a lot of improvements.
Just a week ago, another dangerous encounter had both city leaders and riders up in arms and calling for, at the very least, protective netting along Roosevelt Avenue in Woodside. MTA head Andy Byford addressed the issue head on.
We're being very proactive in the checks we're doing, in the revised processes we've introduced to get our crews to scour the tracks for any debris that could fall, or to make sure there's nothing loose.
And Byford also made a point to tell riders that he is taking this very seriously, and in the coming weeks they will be rolling out different testing methods, and be it protective netting or something else. They're really trying to figure out the best way to prevent all of this falling debris. He's, as always, asking riders for their patience. We're live in Long Island City tonight. Shirley Chan, Pix 11 News.
Yes, pack your patience. We want to see that one. Thank you so much, Shirley.
And we have learned to do that, no question.
All right, let's return to the news of the day. Well, there you guys have it. Now we're gonna speak over the phone with that news reporter from Puerto Rico, Julio Rivera Sanier. So give me just 1 minute to connect the call. Okay, apparently his cell phone is off right now, because believe me, coming from Puerto Rico to cover this, the weekend events plus covering this is very hesitated. And let's look what is trending on Twitter. there was a point that between Manhattan and helicopter crash was dominating the trends here on Twitter. So as of right now, 6th Avenue, 7th Avenue, let's see if there's still any closure. Let's say any street closure in the vicinity. Okay, let's go to Google Maps. All right, and we're gonna look at traffic. And we're gonna go all the way to this area right here. So as of right now, 52nd Street remains closed between 6th Avenue and 9th Avenue. 51st Street is open. 50th Street, it says here that 52nd Street is going to be closed until midnight tonight, but we're not sure about that. But there was one point during the afternoon hours that no one couldn't go south of 57th Street on 6th and 7th Avenues and even Broadway. Because this tragedy, in other words, this incident brought like a post-traumatic stress from the experience from 9/11. But the question of the night will be the following. And of course, you're welcome to post your comments below on YouTube. Okay, we have the name, thanks to Marina Basteiro. The name of the pilot is Tim McCormack. And here we have pictures of the roof of the helicopter. In other words, the roof of the building. And let's try to trace the route using Google Earth. Let's turn this like that. Let's put it a little bit more towards north. Okay, there we go. Okay, according to official reports, the helicopter departed from Linden, New Jersey. Let's see if we can find Linden. Okay, apparently the helicopter departed from Linden Airport, and then it went to the 34th Street heliport and the east side. That's right here. But instead of going south, he decided to go inward. In other words, into Manhattan, and around 11 minutes after he departed the 34th Street heliport, then he crashed right there. On top of the cooling system of the 54-story building of the Equitable. So someone from the National Transportation Safety Board should be up here already investigating this. That, of course, caused a little bit of chaos during a quiet Monday here in New York. But unfortunately, no subway line was affected, despite the fact that the nearest subway station is 7th Avenue 53rd Street on the BDNE. And as you guys know, and Google Earth says it all, we are covered in clouds. And now we're going to go to Flight Radar 24 to see what is the latest status of flights going to and from our area airports.
You're seeing, not from today. It's actually from 3 decades ago.
But before that,
Staying with us in Corey Chambers.
And I'm Tamsin Fidel. Today's helicopter crash is just the latest in a long list of crashes in and around Manhattan. Lawmakers are calling for change, wanting to drastically limit the number of aircraft that fly over Manhattan skies.
Okay, Tim's Allison Cadence live on the east side of 34th Street Heliport with the latest on that. Allison.
Good evening to you. This is where the helicopter took off today before it crash landed on top of a midtown high-rises roof, killing the pilot. Within hours, lawmakers were calling for flight restrictions over New York City, and as you mentioned, that is nothing new.
This is the most congested area in the world, especially at the time that the helicopters in service.
That's an elected official in 1977, following a deadly helicopter accident atop what was then the Pan Am building in Midtown. While New York City helipads are a thing of the past, the debate still rages about helicopters in New York City.
We have always heard concerns about flights over Manhattan, and in a day like today, we can see the weather lie is like, we really want to, I think the thing I want to understand next is why is somebody allowed to be able to take off today, especially if it's a non-essential, non-emergency helicopter.
The helicopter today, taking off from the East 34th Street heliport in bad weather, never made it to its destination, instead crashing on the roof of 787 7th Avenue. The pilot, with Congresswoman Carolyn Maloney, who has repeatedly tried to ban non-essential helicopters from New York City's airspace, is renewing her call.
I truly, deeply believe non-essential flight should be banned from New York City. It is just too densely populated. It is too dangerous. There is absolutely no safe place to land.
This is the latest chopper crash in a long list of accidents. Last month, a helicopter crashed into the Hudson River. The pilot was trying to land at the West 30th Street Pier when something went wrong. He survived. And last year, a tourism helicopter with the door off lost power and plunged into the East River. 5 passengers died. Only the pilot survived. While Maloney said the definition of non-essential is up for debate, it could include executive and tourism flights.
But I feel like it's a safety issue and it just shouldn't be happening unless it's absolutely necessary.
It's definitely like something that's alarming, something that kind of comes to mind. But I mean, it's an easy way of travel, especially in the summer.
If lawmakers move forward to regulate this industry here in New York City and push the FAA to regulate those helicopters, you can bet you're going to see pushback from the helicopter industry. Historically, in the past, they have done that, claiming that these flights, these tourism flights, even executive flights, they have added to New York City's economy. We're live on the east side. Allison Kate, Pix 11 News.
We have certainly seen both sides, Allison. Thank you so much. Well, New York could become the first state to fully decriminalize sex work, according to Democratic legislator.
A sea of faces as diverse as New York, demanding justice for Layleen Polanco extravaganza.
We're not going to stop. Our family is not going to back down.
All right, folks, we are here officially at Flight Radar 24. Let's see if we could get any, or if we could get any information regarding Linden Airport, or at least the East 34th Street heliport. The only heliport that the website is recognizing is the one located at Wall Street, and of course Newark Airport, and of course Linden. And I don't know why it says the weather in Celsius. Is that I don't know why it's giving me the weather in Celsius if I want it in Fahrenheit. Okay, let's see the departures. None. So this airport at Linden is not registering nothing that departed this afternoon or at all, and no flight either departing or arriving. So basically, as we know, the, the helicopter was supposed to come back into Linden, but it never did. But let's look at the delays of the airports. Because we know that in a weather like this, traveling could be a task. And right now, according to Flight Radar 24, we have arrivals averaging delays of 1 hour and departures averaging around 90 minutes in Newark. Let's go to JFK to see how is the situation over here. So we have the average on arrivals is about 40 minutes in JFK and 49 minutes on departures. But since then, in our phone we have the My TSA app, so we're gonna give as we speak the information from the TSA directly. Okay, so we have in Newark, according to the FAA, we have delays of almost 3 hours in Newark and 2 hours and 20 minutes in JFK. So our recommendation is when you travel, do it in a sunny day. But tomorrow we are going to continue to monitor this situation pretty closely for you guys. And as a reminder, this upcoming Wednesday, my presence on social media will be very extremely limited due to the fact that I return to my regular job. So my presence on social media will be very extremely limited for my my shift. So thank you for joining us on this Monday night. A very intense one But I want to end um, saying this. When you witness a story or you tell a story, never speculate. Always give facts, because when you speculate, there could be a possibility that the information that you could give out could be incorrect, or the information could be false leading, and people could potentially lose you as a source of information. So that's why our mission to become a journalist is and will be the same. And of course, I want to thank uh, the NYPD spokesperson Carlos Nieves for giving me that advice. That advice, I will take it very, very seriously. And I want to thank my fellow contributor to all of my networks, Matt Camper, of being the first one to inform me about this. And I was so fortunate to be at the scene covering this for you guys through my Periscope live stream. That I want to thank everybody that watched my live streams when I was live or doing replay. Especially those people that are journalists that see me as as a source of information. So thank you for joining us and have a good night.